What is up, my dudes and that one girl who wants to see my technical skills? This is Bikes, Beards, and Brews. Let's kick that intro. Hey guys, before we kick off this video, I just want to say make sure you hang around to the end. I'm going to tell you how you can win these. These are basically just a couple different things for GoPro mounts, camera mounts, action cams, stuff like that, that I'd love to put in your hands if it's something that you would like to use. So hang out towards the end and I'll tell you how you can win those. Now let's get on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we kick this one off, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. New videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back. Let's get the other stuff out of the way. Want to save 10% on our Cardo communicator? Check my referral link down below. Want to support me in all my do-gooderness like these cool guys here? Boom! Then you should become part of the Brew Crew and join the coffee page down below. Want to know why I'm asking you for money? Well, next to those 5,000 Amazon links that are also included in this whole, like, if I make money, good things happen, there's a link down below explaining that. So definitely check that out. All right, so today we're going to be doing the setup for this RPHA 91 helmet. Basically, this is going to be my motovlogging, daily rider sort of helmet. So I've got to put a few things inside to get it up and ready. And I want to share that with you in case you get this helmet or something similar. You're just getting into motovlogging and you're looking for some different setups. Maybe this will help you with some of the tips and tricks. So I wanted to share that with you and hopefully you learned a little bit. All right, so first and foremost, let's go through a list of stuff that I'm going to be putting into this helmet. First and foremost, I have this Flex Slim from Motoradds. This is actually a GoPro mount that we're going to be using for the front of this helmet. Currently, there's really no actual mounts that are made specifically for this helmet. The owner of Motoradds reached out to me a little while ago. If you watch Kraken's Adventures, he actually did a review on this, and that's because at the time I did not need a mount, and I suggested that he reach out to Kraken, who would give him a fair and honest review, which Kraken did, and he also gave away a couple of these. So, you know, it was kind of cool. So I'm hoping that this is going to fit and work on my helmet. We shall see. So next up in the list, we have the Cardo Packtalk second helmet setup. So essentially what this is for is if you're running multiple helmets and you don't want to buy a comm for every single helmet, you can go to Cardo and you can get a second helmet kit. They actually make these for pretty much every Cardo that they have, minus the Slim, because once that's installed, it is installed. This is for my Cardo Packtalk Edge, which, like I said, I'm still going to be using my R0DE Atlas 4.0, so I didn't want to take that whole setup away. So I went out and I got this. Next, for my GoPro mic setup, I'm actually changing up mics. I usually use a Purple Panda. This time I'm actually going to be using a Rode mic, R0DE. Actually, what this wireless device is right here sitting in my pocket. I'm going to be using one of their mics. It has a smaller windsock in there and then the larger one on top, just to try and make sure that we're keeping any wind sound down. So I'm hoping that this is a little bit better than the Purple Panda, but at the same time, if I have to go back to it, so be it, I will. All right, so next in the list, we're going to be installing our pinlock. This is, pretty damn easy to pop in, but there's a few little things I do want to share with you, especially if you've not actually used one of these before. Just trust me, if you've got OCD, you want to make sure you put this in the right way. And then some of the final things that we're going to be using are these Ulanzi magnetic mounts. I use this on my R0DE Atlas. This is just so I can drop in my GoPro, twist and lock. There's none of the thumb screws or anything like that. This is going to be tightened down to my Motoradds Slim, so hopefully I can just set it and forget it. We'll see. And then finally, we need a little bit of branding, don't we? So my buddy, the infamous Creep, went ahead and cut me up a few logos. So those are going to be going on the side of the helmet. I've got that. I've got a few tools here. So let's get into this. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to put in the pin lock. So let's go ahead and get that set up. I'm going to use my helmet donut for this so I can lay the lens on it and it doesn't get scratched up. And I'm actually going to be wearing gloves as well. The reason for the gloves is because when I pop off this lens and I go to put on this lens, the last thing I want are any sort of like little fibers in between the lens and this pin lock or any sort of fingerprints. Yes, you can wash your hands and do it as well, but I'd rather not even risk that. I'd rather just make sure that, it's as clean as humanly possible. So let me pop these on. You go ahead and grab your ankles and smile and we'll get to work. What do you think? Would I have cold fingers? I don't. They're very warm. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and remove the lens from this. As I mentioned in the last video, there's just triggers on the side that you just pull, pop it off. Yeah, I'm not even going to look at this one. I'm just going to do it from the other side. Bam, that's how easy it is. So now we have our lens. We're going to check it under the light real quick. Just make sure that there's nothing on the inside. I did bring a lint-free cloth, so we'll give it just a quick wipe to make sure that there's nothing in there because I have tried the helmet on, as you guys saw in the last video, just to make sure. Because quite honestly, if you put this on and you get the little fibers or you get like a little fingerprint or something stuck in between the lens and this pin lock, that's the only thing you're ever going to see and it's going to drive you absolutely insane. Or you're going to have to pull the pin lock off and that's kind of a pain. And then at the same time, you're kind of in the same situation because now you're sitting there trying to worry about making sure there's no fingerprints, any little fibers, stuff like that. So I don't open these until I'm ready to put them on. And I make sure my lens is clean. That's our pin lock. One side is you peel it off, the other side you drop it in. You can tell very easily because when you take out your pin lock, there's going to be a little tiny gasket around the edge. That's the part that's going to be facing your lens. So that's the side that's going in. What I normally do is I peel back the plastic on each edge because the way a pin lock sets is it kind of catches on two little tabs inside. So you don't want this stuck under the tab and then you're fighting to get it off later on. Let's make sure my gasket is sealed before I peel off any plastic. And there we go. Our pin lock is now in. We're ready to go. Looking good. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do for this helmet is, like I said in the initial review, it has a drop-down visor that adjusts so it goes further forward or further back depending on your comfort. I'm going to make sure that the tab is all the way down so the visor is all the way out. That way it's out of my way. And plus when I'm wearing glasses and whatnot, it's just going to make it so this visor doesn't hit my glasses. It's all the way down. We're good. So on to the next step. Did you see a cord magically appear? Yeah. Cord magically appeared. That's my heat gun. And that's because it's time to install the Motoradds Flex Slim GoPro Mount. Now, the cool thing about these is they are wider. They've got these wings. So basically, when you're installing this on your helmet, it makes it so it kind of takes a little bit more of any sort of stress or pressure that you're getting from wind or your GoPro and stuff like that and distributes it over this band instead of just in that one centralized location. The theory is doing this helps it so you're less likely to have this start lifting off your helmet and less potential of losing your GoPro in windy situations. The other cool thing is this is like a plastic sort of rubbery shell here, but on the inside there's actually a metal core. Part of that is so you can take this and form it to your helmet before taking off the glue strip and popping it on so you can get the tightest connection possible. All right, guys, we're back after a few power issues, but yeah, basically all you missed was me using a heat gun to heat up this 3M strip before attaching this to the actual helmet. I also did all the pre-molding to this. So as I was saying before, there's a metal core inside this. So what you want to do is rest it against your helmet and start kind of bending and working with this. It is actually very pliable, so you can really get it in there and get the best fit possible. Now on this helmet, there's a lot of different like line work and stuff like that. So this is kind of tricky to get attached. Overall, I do believe that I got a good connection and I'll work with it a little bit more just to make sure. overall, I feel like I have a very good connection here. It seems very sturdy. I'm gonna push down on it a little bit more and work with it a little more just to make sure that, you know, I have the best connection possible. Honestly, I've always had like some small issues with any sort of GoPro mount on the front of my helmet. So, I mean, if this does start to lift off somewhere down in the future, yeah, I drive at fast speeds. I'm on highways and stuff like that. I wouldn't be super angry. Basically, all I'm going to do is go in and dip a little bit of epoxy around the edges, and this thing is not going anywhere. But until that actually happens, I'm not going to be sweating it. I mean, overall, this is secure, man. This is very tight. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So yeah, on to the next step. All right, so for our next step, we're going to install the Cardo Packtalk second helmet kit. This, like I said, this is very cool because if you have multiple helmets and you don't want to keep buying communicators over and over and over again, you get one of these. This is going to have everything you need except for the actual communicator. So this is just, it's great. You get it at a much lower price. I think it comes in around $100, and everything is there that you would normally have, like your Velcro pads, your microphone, your spacers, so if you want your speakers closer to your ears, your alcohol prep pads, and let's see what else we've got here. Your clip, if you're not going to use the glue plate to put it on. Your glue plate, which is what we'll be using. Your speakers, so that's all taken care of. And then your actual mount and your boom mic if you so choose to use your boom mic. Like I said, this is an actual full setup minus the actual communicator. So this is great if like you go back and forth between helmets, because all you do is you pull that communicator off of this helmet, you drop it on the next one, you're good to go. And I mean, these come in, I want to say around like $300. I'll pop the price right here as soon as I double check. So, I mean, you're saving a couple $100 just by going with the second helmet mount. So let's go ahead and get this installed. Okay, so first things first, I can't remove this plate and mount my Cardo here. This is designed for their proprietary communicator that I chose not to use. So I'm either going to be mounting this on that plate, if possible, if I can get good contact, or just behind that plate. So first thing I'm gonna do is take my glue plate here and just kind of get an idea of where I can click this in. Honestly, if I could put it where this plate goes normally, that's perfect, because that is where the comm is meant to be, and that's a pretty good setup. All right, so I took a look at this, and I'm actually gonna mount it behind where this plate is. I could probably mount it to the plate, but if you take a look here, the plate is actually grooved, so I wouldn't be able to get full contact with my glue plate. And quite honestly, I want to make sure that this is unobstructed, because this, like I said, you can remove this plate to adjust the inside visor, and this is also where your internal visor actuator is. So I don't want to block that stuff. I can pop it right there and be good to go. All right, so first things first, just like the chin mount, we're going to use a alcohol pad just to kind of clean up this section, make sure we've got good contact. Quick wipe with our lint-free cloth. What I'm aiming for is to get the glue plate right along the seam of the helmet, so between where the two parts connect. That way it's as close as possible, and that way I can run my mic cables right underneath. We mount our Cardo plate. There we go, and we're ready to go. Like I said, right on there. That's what it's gonna look like when it's all said and done. All right, so next step is we have to get inside the helmet so we can run all of our wires. And that's gonna require taking apart the neck roll and just getting inside here all together. So the padding here, it's all snapped in. It's very nicely done. There we go. Laces through the buckle. So you take that out, you're good to go. That's what the inside of the padding looks like. We're gonna be taking out both sides because we need to remove those speaker pods that I showed you in the last video. And we also need to run our new speakers. So there's our speaker pod, it is out. Here's our second one, it's out. That's what we've got so far. Now we just have to get in between the neck roll, which pops out as well. So nothing too crazy there. What we're going to do is, see how it's notched right here? We're going to bring the wires forward and under, so they are out of the way of the actual neck liner. Cool. And that's what we have. And honestly, when I did my HJC i90, I used one of the low pro Cardo comms. And when I mounted that, instead of a glue plate, I used one of these clips. The clip actually lifted up a little bit in between the liner and the helmet, and it created an open space for, you know, wind to get into when I was on the highway. This ear was always much louder and probably a little bit more in pain than I'd like it to be dealing with that. So that's why I switched to the glue plate and just running the wires like that, so I can have a better seal and I can maintain some of that quietness that this helmet should have and should be giving me. All right, next step, we're gonna get the speakers in. So before I put in the speakers, I do want them to be closer to me. I like it personally when my speakers are pretty much touching my ears. It's just kind of how I do things. To me, it's like the least amount of space between the speaker and the ear means like way less like air that could be there and way less noise. So I'm gonna use these backings to put inside the speaker pods that are here and here. And then I'm gonna be putting these spacers in, and then I'll mount the speakers right on top of that. Now, for some reason, I find that the speaker pods are close enough and maybe those spacers are too close to my ears. I can remove them and no harm, no foul, because these are the exact same pads you would use to connect these speakers. So no matter what, these go in your helmet. Now, the great thing about this helmet is there are tracks all the way around. So there's a place for your boom mic, there's a place for your speaker wires, like everything is there. It's pretty fantastic. We're actually going to pull the rear part of the headliner. There we go. So we have the track towards the back as well, just so we can run our speakers all the way around. Speakers come with just one plug, they're connected together. So obviously the longer cord is on the opposite side of where your communicator is. Let's pop those in real quick. When you pop them in, just make sure that the cable lines up with the speaker track, the wire track in the back. You know what? I'm not gonna need the spacers. This sits so far out. All right, so we're taking out the spacers. Like I said, no harm, no foul. There you go. And like I said in the beginning of the video as well, this sort of stuff can be used for all helmets because, I mean, for the most part, pretty much all helmets have the same sort of setup, the same sort of design. So, I mean, the stuff that I'm doing here should transition pretty well to any helmet that you are using. Obviously, there are a few exceptions out there, so this isn't the definitive be-all, end-all, but it is a good outline to get you to where you need to be. We're going to plug in our headphones here. There we go. It's that easy. Run our speaker cord into the back. We're just going to tuck it into the track along the neck roll. So that is all out of the way. Okay, so we've got the boom mic installed, the speakers installed, but I still have all the padding out, and that's because we've got the last step, which is installing this microphone. Now, one of the biggest issues that people will have with these sort of microphones is there's a lot of extra wire. So people have gotten very creative as to what to do with this. I've seen a lot of people actually trim some of the foam out of their helmet just to get this in there so it's not like irritating your skull or whatnot when it's like pushing on like the padding. I don't recommend doing that, especially with like the RPHA series, because these come with a 5-year warranty. The problem is if you damage it in some sort of neglectful way like that, you've basically voided your warranty. So to get around that, what I did is their proprietary communicator setup is here, and then the battery pack sits back here. If you noticed, I have removed the plate for that. So there's a nice big space there. That's where I'm going to store my wire. So what I did is I actually took the plate from the back, I hit it with a Dremel, lost it in my helmet. I hit it with a Dremel, and just carved out a little section so I could put all my wires in there and then bring them back out and run them through the helmet nice and clean. The great part about this is this plate is not part of the structure of the helmet, and these are replaceable, so you can order these. If there was some sort of reason that you had to send this helmet back, you strip everything off, you replace this plate, and you're not voiding your warranty. So if you're somebody who's considering running some sort of mic and you're like, oh, I've got to shave out just a little bit of foam in the back, don't do it. If you have this option, go for this option. And a lot of the newer helmets and the ones with a little bit more of a price tag on them do tend to have some sort of integrated comm system that you can drop in, which means they're going to have this little brain section back here. That's plenty of space for your mic. So I'm going to measure it out. Pretty much my mic's going to go right here. In fact, I'm going to use a little piece of Velcro. So I don't like to actually secure my mic to anything just in case, because I'm opening and closing that chin bar. So what I actually do is I just kind of secure it to my other microphone, and they're together. Everything's good. Seems to be a good approach to this, and I've still got too much Velcro there. There's a whole separate layer. There we go. So I just have a nice little thin Velcro strip. I can secure that on, wrap it onto itself, bring it around a few times, and that's going to be my Motovlog setup unless I need to move it around, which, there might be some adjustments at some point in time. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see. So yeah, same thing. Gonna run this inside the helmet, get it towards the back. Is there an opening in this neck roll? Yeah, there's a nice little opening. So right here, you can kind of see there's a place right there. I can run this wire through. Now what I'm gonna do is double over this wire because this part has to plug into my GoPro. So I'm gonna leave just enough room for that. Anyone who uses a GoPro knows that you need some sort of adapter, so I'm not going to go crazy on the length for that part. Bring this up, thread it through, nice and clean, nice and easy. Make sure it's all running where it should be on the helmet. Fold it up, get my neck roll back into place to make sure that everything is where it should be. And I have not knocked anything askew in the process. There we go. Get my seals back in place. Now, when I put this plate back on, like I said, it's going to have that one little place where the wires can come out. They're not going to get in the way. They're not going to interfere. It's just going to be a nice connection. All right, wires are in. We're going to screw it back down, and we have a nice clean setup. So that is looking good. All right, so the next step is putting all the padding back in, making sure the wires are where they need to be, and getting this ready. All right, guys, so now we have a finished product. The padding is back in, our dual microphone is right there, our wire to hook up to our GoPro is right there, the Motoradds chin mount is on, everything's looking good. Our Cardo communicator is right here, ready to go. Our pin lock is in, everything closes the way it should, and yeah, I cannot wait to try this helmet out. Well, there's just a few more things real quick. Now that looks more like a Bikes, Beards, and Brews helmet. Once again, thanks Infamous Creep for hooking me up on those. Definitely, if you're not following him on YouTube, you should fix that. I almost forgot my little Ulanzi magnetic dock. This is about as easy as it gets. Pop the screw. Set that up. Pop it back on. So with this in particular, I'm going to have to adjust it, I'm sure, once I get on my bike, because it's just finding out exactly where it sits really well. Usually tilted out a little bit works good, because then I can tilt my GoPro so it's facing upwards, because when you ride, you tend to ride with your helmet and your head kind of lean downwards a little bit. So yeah, you want your GoPro to be facing up a bit so you're not just staring at your gauges or your gas tank. It's not a very exciting video for anyone. Now in the beginning, I promised a giveaway, and I am doing that as well. So I have one more of these Motoradds Flex Slim mounts that I do want to give away to somebody who's looking to set up their helmet. Maybe you don't have something on there right now, or you're looking to try something new. This is an excellent option, and I wanted to put it in your hands so you can try it out, maybe do your own review on it. And I do want to thank Motoradds. He did send both of these to me for free, mainly because he was not sure, after looking at the actual chin of this helmet, if this mount would work. So this is kind of a guinea pig for him as well. I am testing it out for him, but this will fit many, many helmets. Like I said, it's very pliable, very easy to use. There's instructions inside. Yes, so that's one of the things. And you will also be getting this HSU fully aluminum arm kit. This is like the arched arms. This is actually what I use on my handlebars. So if you ever watch my videos where I'm on my bike and you see the camera facing back at me, I'm actually using this arm right here. And it's just to bring the camera a little bit away, yet lift it up, so I have a slightly better angle on the camera that's looking back on me. And like I said, these are aluminum, comes with a little wrench to torque them down. HSU is not playing around. These things are awesome. I absolutely love them, and I love having this on my handlebars. So how do you win this? Very simple. Down in the comments, tell me your favorite dad joke. That's it. Tell me your favorite dad joke down in the comments, and I will randomly pick a winner and I will ship these to you. Now, if you're just getting these to collect them, please don't. If it's something that you're actually going to use, then yes, I want to send these to you. So make sure that it's something that you plan to install, use, and you know, it's something you need. I want to help out the next person in line. So once again, dad jokes down in the comments. I will pick out a random one, and you will win these, and I'll throw in some Bikes, Beards, and Brews swag as well. So that's what I've got. How do you like it? I can't wait. The next video is gonna be me on the bike, riding this, testing it out, and man, I am excited to do it. So yeah, let me know how this looks to you, if you're excited for this, whatever, favorite dad jokes, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share this video with friends, share it with family, share it with that one dad you know who's just got all those horrible jokes that you can finally put to good use. He loves this stuff, trust me, and I'll see you all on the flip side.